Page 7, 1.4 River Processes, Weathering and Mass Movement. Rivers play a major role in shaping landforms. Rivers shape the landform by the means of three processes. The first one is erosion, which is the breaking of the rocks. The second one is the transport, which is through the river. And the third is the deposition, which is the settlement of the rocks. Weathering must occur so that the rocks can defragment. Weathering is very important to shape the landforms. Let's talk about it in details. We will take a closer look on the different types of weathering, which are physical weathering, chemical weathering, and biological weathering. We will see how these three types of weathering affect the defragmentation of the rocks. We will also be learning about the mass movement and how the rocks move because of the influence of gravity. We will also learn about the different types of mass movement, which are slumping and soil creep. On page 9, we will talk about the three factors that shape the river. Erosion, which is how the rivers erode their channels and valleys. After erosion, we will learn about the transport, which is the movement of the material by the river. And on page 10, we will learn about the deposition, which is the laying down of material after they were transported, and this occurs when there is a decrease in the energy, speed, and discharge of the river. Now, let's look together at weathering and mass movement. Weathering is the breaking down of rocks, soils, and minerals through the contact with the atmosphere and rainfall. They fall due to gravity. So we have to understand that certain factors affect the weathering, such as the type of soil, the type of rocks, the atmosphere, and rainfall. There are three kinds of weathering: physical weathering, chemical weathering, and biological weathering. Now let's look at them in details. Physical weathering, this breaks rocks down into smaller pieces, which is done by changes in temperature and by rainfall freezing and thawing in rock cracks. High temperature dilate rocks while low temperatures shrink rocks. Also, in high temperatures, the water inside the rocks is freezing. Thus, all these factors affect the rocks and it causes the rocks to crack. Now we will move to chemical weathering. This causes the rocks to decay and disintegrate. It is largely done by slightly acidic rainfall seeping into porous rocks. And finally, we have the biological weathering. The roots of plants, especially trees, growing in cracks in the rocks gradually split the rocks apart. And these are the three types of weathering.